Most institutions all over the world have been designed by men for men. This means a lot of the rules and the ways these places function are biased and don't help women. Lots of places aren't accommodating to women, not supplying menstrual products, and not accommodating breastfeeding in public spaces. But even more than that, these rules put in place by men limit females' access to reproductive care, and more specifically, abortions. This is a history of abortions by Elizabeth Martin and Madeleine Klevay.
Abortion has been around for a very long time. Dating back to at least the 1700s, abortions were allowed in the first 4 months of pregnancy before there was any fetal movement. Surgeries weren't as realistic during this time period, so most abortions were induced using herbs and medications. During this time, women of all races and ethnicities could be midwives who would be in charge of abortion and delivering babies. At this time, abortions weren't quite completely socially acceptable, but they were legal in most states, and for some women, they were the only option. Pregnancies could be dangerous during these times, with limited knowledge on healthcare, and sometimes a pregnancy could mean death for the women.
But during the civil rights movement, rules began to change. Because of slave owners' brutal tactics for more workers, black women who were enslaved were not allowed to make their own decisions about their bodies, and they weren't allowed to get abortions. Enslaved women were taken advantage of because more children meant more helpers and more slaves. These women would have to find plants to cause their abortions in secret if they didn't want to go through with childbirth.
At around the time of the Civil War, the men started to want to have complete control over all women and their reproductive rights. Abortion was completely banned from the U.S. by 1910. That is when a lot of the widespread hatred towards abortion started, and women had to put themselves in very dangerous situations in secret if they needed an abortion. Some doctors would perform abortion surgeries in secret, but the procedures weren't guaranteed with success, and many women died in the process. Abortion was considered a criminal operation.
In 1973, the Roe v. Wade case legalized abortion nationwide, but certain laws still restricted the decisions of people of color. The Hyde Amendment, for example, didn't allow certain insurances to cover abortions, with very few exceptions. Because of the inequality in our economy, Black and Latino people were less likely to get a job that would cover abortions, which meant that these laws were targeting people.
In June of 2022, Roe v. Wade was completely overturned, and legalizing abortions became a state-by-state decision. This means that young women growing up now will have fewer rights than those that came before them, starting from when they're in the womb. Quickly, states started banning abortions, and now in 21 states, abortion is illegal.
What needs to happen now is that we legalize abortion again. The arguments of the pro-lifers may be what they think is right, but the point of pro-choice is that everyone should be able to make that decision for themselves. If abortion was legal nationwide again, it would give women the freedom that should be inherent for them, and give them the power of making their own decisions about their bodies. The argument isn't yes abortion or no abortion. It's whether or not we give people the power to choose how to live their lives.
My name is Madeleine, and my personal connection to this topic is that I am a female and I believe in having bodily autonomy. Both of my parents are doctors, and they strongly believe that allowing abortion is necessary in today's society. We know it isn't something that should be taken lightly, but in some cases, such as in cases of rape or health complications, it can be the right choice for a lot of people. I believe that the taking away of the right of choice isn't completely about the strong belief that by getting abortion you are killing a child. I think it is a sexist and sneaky way of taking away an aspect of basic human rights and female rights. I know I, and every other female, have the right to choose whether or not one wants to go through the irreversible process of giving birth.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth, and my personal connection is that as a female myself, someone who has the ability to become pregnant at some point, I really value the power I have over my own body. I value the idea that I can make choices about my own body. I don't like the idea that the government and institution that has overall been run by men who cannot and have not known what it is to be pregnant has the power, the choice over my body. I also recognize that while I have the resources and the support that if I were to become pregnant someday, all would end up okay, but not everyone shares these luxuries. Not everyone has the money, the support, or is in a mental state to become a mother, and therefore not everyone should become one. I believe that you should be ready to be a parent so that you can be the best parent you can be. And if you're not ready, that should be your choice, not the government's.